Loneliness on the Twin Flame Journey. Hi, I'm Agi, and this is Reach Your Soul. I want to dedicate this video today to those who are on the Twin Flame Journey and feel this kind of loneliness on the path. They feel alone and they don't know how to share the information they have in their mind. And if this message reaches you at the right moment, please support the channel with a like or a subscription. And in this case, the videos can reach others who are really in need and walking this path in silence. Thank you for being here. This is also part of my mission because many people find me at this stage where they have nobody to talk to. Many people arrive in the twin flame space at a very specific point in their journey. Not at the beginning, after this push and pull phase, when they start being alone and they feel confusing and emotionally feel this journey as a very intense one. And they just tell me all the time when they come that they can't talk to anyone about this. No one understands what they are experiencing. And they feel that they are going crazy sometimes. And they say that, Agi, I don't even know if I could tell this to anyone because it sounds so unreal. They think that I'm going crazy. And underneath that is exactly a very human feeling, a deep sense of loneliness. And not just physical loneliness, but emotional and spiritual loneliness. Because videos can't give really this kind of relief and solution. It's not an interaction. It's just a passive concentration. And because of this journey is a very unique quality. It touches parts of you that your everyday environment often can't hold. They don't understand this. You might be in the middle of your normal life with work, family, responsibilities, while internally experiencing something that feels overwhelming, confusing, magnetic, and sometimes very, very, really confusing. And you feel deeply connected to someone and deeply uncertain at the same time. You feel the expansion, and yet you feel also very alone with it. And this is where many people start to withdraw. And not because they want to isolate themselves. It's not going on purpose, but because they don't feel understood. Sometimes they try to explain it to a friend and they hear things like, maybe you should just move on. They just use you. The other one was the same. So why do you attract all these kind of type of people? You are overthinking it. Just leave it as it is. They can't relate to this intensity and they can't relate to what you feel. So slowly you realize that you stop talking about it and you carry it inside. And this connection which was full of meaning, now it's silence. And I want to normalize something here. Feeling alone in this process doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It often simply means that you are in a phase of transformation and integration, a phase where the experience is still forming inside you and hasn't yet found a stable external expression. You can't relate to things what you had in the past, but you still don't know where you are heading at the moment. So let's make this a little bit more concrete. Maybe you recognize yourself here. You wake up and the first thought is them, or the absence of them, or the unanswered questions. You go through your day acting kind of normal, but internally there is this parallel reality running. You might check signs, meaning, synchronicities, and you might feel hope in one moment and complete doubt in another. And because there is no clear external validation, basically nothing for what you feel, you start questioning yourself, your own sanity, your intuition or emotional stability. And this is where loneliness deepens. And not because actually nothing is happening, but because you are experiencing something that is not easily shared in everyday conversation with other people who are not walking on this path. But there is another way to relate to this phase. What if it's not just a period of separation, but a kind of inner sanctuary? A space where life is inviting you to go deeper, to look inside, to go back to yourself, not to abandon what you feel, but to hold it a little bit differently, to stop outsourcing your emotional state of being and waiting for confirmation and interpretation and reassurance from the outside world. But instead of going in and establish your inner connection, your inner clarity, and your inner safety. Because the truth is that this path is not only about the connection with another person, it's also about the connection with yourself, mostly with yourself. And at some point, the journey, gently, or sometimes very intensely, redirects you inward. And it's not a punishment, but this is the real transformation. And this is where something starts to shift. When you stop asking only, what does this connection mean? Where are they? When is the union coming? And start asking instead, what is happening inside me right now? Why do I feel like this? What can I do about it? What part of me needs attention, care, grounding? What is this experience teaching me about myself? And this is where the energy begins to move differently, and not necessarily faster, but differently and more consciously, because you are more grounded in yourself. You are not outsourcing your energy. And I often see that when someone else feels very alone in this process, what they actually need is not more analysis. They need sometimes support, structure, masculine energy, reflection from the outside, where from a person who can give it to you, and the space where they are not judged for what they feel, where they can simply bring everything on the table as it is, all the confusion, all the hope, fear, longing, and start making sense in front of someone else in a calmer place. And this is why I created my transformational coaching program. It's 3 months. And because I've seen now quickly, energy can shift when someone is not carrying everything alone anymore. I can really suggest it to anyone. We meet weekly, and these sessions create a stable rhythm in your week or in your life, where you can go back to yourself. And I see that often after the 3rd or 4th session, people describe a very clear shift from emotional overwhelm into presence, from confusion into more clarity, from isolation into some kind of grounded connection. And what's also important is that you are not alone between the sessions either. You can reach out, You can ask questions. You can share what comes up, and say, and you stay supported through this process, because transformation doesn't only happen in 1 hour per week. It mostly happens between two sessions or among the sessions, and it continues, it goes on. And if you want to get some information about it, just look at my website and you see some testimonials. So you can see also the program structure there. And I just want to leave you with this. You don't need to rush this phase. You don't need to bypass it. And you don't need to force clarity. You don't need to force anything, basically, before it's ready to arrive. This part of the journey can feel very intense, although it's silence. But it's not something to escape from. It is something to move through with more awareness, with gentleness, and with honesty. Because within it, there is also something very real, a real return to yourself you've never been before, a deep grounding, a more stable inner world. So if you are in this place right now, feeling alone, uncertain, or overwhelmed, I want you to hear this very clearly. You are not behind and you are not doing it wrong. It's natural. You are in a process that asks you to slow down and just feel yourself again. And that's enough. And maybe this is the invitation underneath everything, to allow the stages, all the stages of the journey, to stop resisting the current phase and just start to enjoy it and start finding the light inside it. Even if it's small, even if it's very quiet, and even if it's not yet fully clear and understood. Because that is often how real transformation begins. Not with certainty, but with your presence and this kind of acceptance towards yourself. Even when the path feels still unknown. Trust your intuition. See you in the next video. Bye.